Yo, it's your boy Trilo. What's going on with y'all boys, man? Today we reacting to Welcome to the NBA. Let's get into it. Wait, I hope someone got them monks a TV. What the hell? Oh, my roommate Ben, 29M? Oh, 29 male. Has been unemployed for the past 3 months and refuses to look for a job. What should I do? Oh, hell no. Bro, Ben Simmons really has none. No, I ain't gonna lie. Eliminated from playoff contention? That was... They eliminated the Suns. Like, not the NBA, obviously, but, like, that's crazy. Nah, bruh. Players should be allowed to flop, but if they do, the other team gets to send in a goon to commit the hardest foul on the flopping player for no additional free throws. The flopper can decline the hard foul, but also declines the free throw attempts. Wait, what? That doesn't make sense. Okay, whatever. You gotta fight one NBA player you gotta fight one player in the NBA. You win, you take their contract. Who you fighting? Yusuf Nurkic. They can keep the money. Look how they be looking at his ring. Oh yeah, because they don't have one. Yo, can't wait to watch you play. Can't wait to watch you play tomorrow, GOAT. That's concerning. No, that's not concerning to nobody else. This is concerning. Yo, this is concerning. Hey, man, no Diddy. What the hell? Ant lob to go, Burr. Oh my fucking god. Wait, what? Me at school telling bro how Wemby was playing because he don't got an NBA league. Alright, let's get it.
That's how I know you ain't watching the game. You're not watching the games, Pete. That's how I know you ain't watching the game.
My brothers, it's a new NBA season, and you know what that means. New faces, new contenders, and a new batch of some of the most appalling takes you've ever seen in your life.
Let's get it.
Today, we're gonna take a look at some of these takes. The good, the bad, and the downright atrocious. Today's video is sponsored by...
Bro, Jimmy. Bro, what? What are you talking about? What? Okay.
With the new NBA season starting off this week, I took it upon myself to ruin a good NBA tip-off by rummaging through NBA social media for the hottest takes I could find. Okay. An endeavor that took me to some dark places, but a sacrifice I'm willing to make. I found some good ones, and I found some other ones.
Referees should get ratings on how they officiate it, similar to football, soccer. Hottest hot take is just being people straight up. What? Hottest hot take is just being people straight up stupid and wrong. Here's a hot take. Paul George is the GOAT. Here's a hot take. Delete social media.
And among these hot takes,
yeah, definitely delete social media.
Ones I came across, starting with this fan who
if
says
Wemby plays
Victor Wembanyama will not only win Defensive Player of...
If Wemby plays 10 straight healthy seasons, he'll win 7 to 8 straight depoys. Voter fatigue can't stop 4 blocks per game.
Year this season, he will win it for the next 7 seasons in a row.
Nah,
and
I don't see
as
it.
Crazy as this
That's
sounds,
kind of crazy.
I feel like it's not even out of the realm of possibility.
It's not, but
at the moment, Victor's preseason odds for Defensive Player of the Year are -175.
Holy
shit. The kid is
shit.
favored over the rest of the NBA. And looking at his progression and his numbers from last season, it's clear why he's the heavy favorite. Here are the players with the highest stocks per game over the last decade. That's of course steals and blocks combined. And for even the biggest stat stuffers, averaging 3 stocks a game is a number that will earn you a DPOY, if not at the least get you in contention. The players who achieve this mark are usually defensively versatile big men, and the largest total over the last decade belonging to Hassan Whiteside in 2016, with 4.2 stocks per game. until Wemby blew that and every other total out of the water with 4.8
Oh,
stocks per game.
shit. Holy shit. Bro, what the Yo, Wemby, what the Yo.
Oh, wait. Those were his stocks as a rookie. Here's
No.
his number from last season.
Yo.
His stocks, although enough to persuade some voters, aren't necessarily a great measure of a player's defense.
Damn. Hey, take a look at this chart, bro. Holy shit.
Defensive impact.
Nah, that's
what
OD.
are good measures, however, are metrics like crafted defensive plus minus and on-off splits. How big of an impact are you making on defense, and how does your team perform when you're on the court versus
Facts.
off the court? And here is every player in the league last season who logged at least 1,000 minutes charted according to those two metrics. This group
Really?
here in the top right corner are the players that thrived in both of those defensive metrics.
Yeah.
Draymond Green, Rudy Gobert, Alex Caruso, and of course, Victor Wembanyama. The best
What
defensive
the
player
fuck?
in the league in just his second season. But in the future, Wemby will be competing against his peers, the players his age. After all, the kid is only 21 years old. So
That's
if
true.
you limit this
That's
chart
true.
to
He's mad young, bro. He's got so much time to prosper, bro. I can't wait for Wemby to just. He's going crazy right now, bro. But I just can't wait, bro. I feel like there's more in stock, bro. Like pause, but you know what I mean, bro.
players no older than 25, well, yeah.
Holy shit.
Of course, winning the award once and winning it 7 times in a row are two completely
Yeah.
different things.
Yeah.
Even if a player deserves an award, voters' fatigue may end up being his biggest obstacle.
Agreed.
However, Wemby's gap on the field may just be big enough to overcome this. In a recent survey, GMs across the NBA were asked who they felt was the best defensive player in the league. And to no one's surprise,
It's
it
Wemby.
was Victor Wembanyama,
Yeah.
winning 80% of the votes. Now,
Why would they guess? Why would they say otherwise? Wemby, bro.
surprising is that in the 23 years that this
Come on,
survey
bro.
has been conducted, no player before Wemby has ever been regarded as the best defender in the league with such an overwhelming majority. The highest
Holy
Giannis ever
shit.
got was 48% of the votes. The highest Ben Wallace ever got was 38%. KG, 44%. Kawhi, 67%. Dwight Howard, arguably the greatest defender of the 21st century, managed to get 78%
Yeah, arguably. He said arguably.
of the
Arguably.
votes after winning his 3rd straight DPOY. And then there's
True.
Victor, entering just his 3rd season in the league. So if winning the award is just as much about convincing fans and voters of your merits as it is about the actual impact you have on the game, then you might as well ship the award to Wemby's house right now.
Yeah,
but
true.
The one thing that could prevent him from sweeping this award for the foreseeable future is the very reason why he didn't win it last season. The kid was dealing with an injury. He missed too many games, and he was ineligible for the
True. Wemby can get hurt, bro. Because it's a 65 game thing now. It's like 65 games or something. He can't get hurt at
Which is
all.
a very real possibility as to why he may not end up winning it in future seasons. But as long as he's got 2 good knees and an 8-foot wingspan, it's hard to imagine anyone else earning the award over him for quite a while. So, as crazy as this claim looks, this is a good take. Now, this next take comes from Bill
Hold
Simmons
on.
in a recent podcast he did with Zach Lowe discussing the future of Nikola Jokic's legacy if things fall in his favor this season.
Is there a star player with a bigger legacy shift brewing on a pot on the stove than Jokic this year? Because if they win the title and he wins MVP again, I think he's indisputably one of the best 10 players ever. I think that has to be the outcome. I just don't see how he's not on a top 10 list after that. He has to be.
But if he gets a second one,
Imagine
Nah,
bringing
honestly, hold on. Look, because Jokic, bro. If Jokic
he's next to like
wins the title, which they're not, the Warriors are going to win, bro. But if they end up winning like a title, bro, another title with Jokic getting MVP and Finals MVP, Jokic might be considered like up there. I ain't gonna lie.
next to immediately, not next to like, well, 3 more years. It's next to immediately are like the holy pantheon of NBA players.
He has to be
Nah.
with Bird and Magic at that point.
Yeah.
He's next to them.
Yeah,
Now,
at that
there's a
point,
really
probably.
big if going on here. If Jokic can win another title this season, which in that case would undoubtedly be paired with Finals MVP and another regular season MVP to go
Yeah,
along with it, would that
exactly.
make him not just top 10 all time, but even creeping near top 5 territory, right up there with Bird and Magic?
Nah, top 5 is crazy. Hold on. Top 5 is crazy. Top
To me,
15,
this
maybe.
is a no-brainer. But to my surprise, this was a scorching take for some fans. Many fans would still have him outside of the top 10, somewhere between 12 and 18, which is absolutely absurd. It's tough to make a top 10
like
list
10
that's
or so.
agreed upon, but there is a consensus top 12 that pretty much every fan agrees on. And it's these 12 players in no particular order. And when you compare Jokic's numbers and accomplishments with these guys...
Okay, where's Jokic? Is Jokic even on the thing? No, I don't think he is. But bro, look at the 12. Look at the 12. We got Curry, Olajuwon, Duncan, Jordan, Wilt, Bird, Magic, Kareem, Kobe, Bron, Shaq, Russell. Those 12 players.
Assuming he pulls
Compared
off the
to
season
Jokic.
Simmons described, Jokic clearly belongs in this group, and even ahead of a handful of them. There's only 3 players in NBA history who have more than 4 MVPs. Only 5 players in NBA history who have more than 2 Finals MVPs. And in terms of statistical impact, Jokic's numbers are just flat out better than anyone's.
He's
now
not
the
wrong.
all-time
He's
leader
not
in
wrong.
virtually
He's not
every
wrong.
advanced metric and increasing his lead on the field with each season. The only thing holding him back from crashing the party at this point is championships. But that is a huge if. Winning a title is the toughest thing to do in the sport. Winning an MVP in the same season, even rarer. But a historic season like this may be in the cards for Jokic.
Jokic won. Jokic has 2 rings? I thought Jokic only had 1 ring. What? I thought Jokic only... Wait, am I bugging? I thought Jokic only had 1 ring.
After a busy offseason, the Nuggets have now surrounded Jokic with arguably the best roster he's had in his career. They've added depth at the center spot with Valanciunas, they've bolstered their shooting with Tim Hardaway Jr., and they've upgraded their starting lineup with the addition of Cam Johnson. Moves that have made them one of the favorites to win the title this season, with better odds than they've had in any season since their title run in 2023. And in terms of an MVP, there is no player more perpetual and inevitable than Jokic. The guy always plays, his numbers are insane, and they haven't budged in half a decade.
Shit.
His team looks to be better, so they're set up nicely.
Nah, I ain't gonna lie, Cam Johnson tough. Like, Cam Johnson dead ass tough. I ain't gonna lie, he's dead ass tough. Like, he bag work. I ain't gonna lie, bag work tough.
And after
bro.
averaging a 30-point triple-double last season and still coming up short in the MVP race, I wouldn't be surprised if the MVP narrative is in his favor this season, similar to what happened in 2024 after losing to Embiid in the previous season. In pretty much any other scenario, it would be comical to hint at a player having a historic season like this. But this is prime Nikola Jokic we're talking about, coming off the best individual season of his career with possibly the best roster of his career. And if
possibly the best
I
roster
agree
though.
with Bill. He would undeniably be a top 10 player of all time with the likes of Bird and Magic. This is a great take. Now, this next take comes from a fan who says Joel Embiid will go down as the biggest what if in NBA history. And although I don't agree with this take, it is nice to see some Embiid appreciation every once in a while. Joel Embiid has been dragged down by injuries about as much as any superstar of the 21st century, even to the extent where the word retirement was being thrown around 18 months after
here's
he
the
won an
thing,
MVP.
bro. Embiid is just... Like, Embiid, bro, like, I don't know how to say it. Like, Embiid's weird. Like, he's not weird, but I'm saying his position is just
physical
weird.
Evaluations, it appears that we will unfortunately never see MVP caliber Embiid again.
Yeah.
Now, I understand why a lot of people couldn't care less about the man's game. His headache-inducing play style, the annual playoff regression, the fact that he's intentionally ducked Jokic on numerous occasions. There's always something going on with Embiid. But I could recognize these faults and still see that the guy is one of the most dominant forces.
Is it crazy I look and forgot Embiid was a person? Like, is that crazy?
This is a player who averaged 32 and 11 a night for a 4-season stretch.
Holy
Averaged more
shit.
points than minutes for an entire season. The only player to do this since Wilt Chamberlain, less than 2 years ago.
God damn. Look at that. Holy shit. Yo.
Embiid had a
Oh,
23-game stretch where he averaged 40 points a game on 69% true shooting. 40 a game. A stretch that included a 40-piece on Jokic, a 50-piece on Gobert, and a 70-point 18-rebound bomb on Wemby. When the man is healthy, he is legitimately unguardable.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. When he dropped 70, That was insane when he
One
dropped
of the few
70.
offensive juggernauts that not only has the capacity to anchor a defense, but is willing to do it. Two-way impact, statistically on par with Jokic for consecutive seasons. Somewhere buried under all that foul baiting, showboating, and grifting is a player who can dominate the game without doing any of that. But with that being said, I don't think Embiid can be the biggest what-if of all time for all of those reasons. We have already seen him at the peak of his powers for multiple seasons. Insane individual numbers that never culminated into any tangible success in the postseason. Whereas other big what-ifs like Derrick Rose and Bill Walton were league MVPs with playoff success, but sustained career-altering injuries before they even hit their
Bill Walton?
peak. They were proven formulas who got hurt the moment they were impacting the league. There's also the what-ifs in the form of players who had all the potential in the world, but got hurt before they could even tap into it. Greg Oden, Penny Hardaway, Brandon Roy, Grant Hill, reduced to a fraction of their abilities so early in their careers, all we were left wondering is what if they hadn't gotten hurt? Having a near career-ending injury just 33 games after hoisting an MVP trophy will certainly get your name thrown into some what-if conversations. But sustaining that injury at 30 is a lot different than sustaining it at 23. For the better part of a decade, we saw the extent to which Embiid could dominate games, so there really isn't much what-if left in the tank. If anything, I would put him in the "it's a shame this guy couldn't stay healthy" category,
Nah.
with players like
Honestly,
Tracy McGrady,
Embiid
Kawhi
is
Leonard,
just
Yao
Embiid
Ming,
is
Amar
weird. Like,
Stoudemire, all-time talents who
I don't think he's what if, but I don't
together
think
for more
he's.
than a season or two at a time without their bodies failing them. Joel Embiid is
I don't know.
prolifically underappreciated as a player.
I
but
disagree.
I don't think he's nearly the biggest what if in NBA history.
I
Now, our
I don't
last
think
take
he's the biggest what if, but I just don't think that he's. I
comes
just
from a fan who
know.
says the
I
NBA
can't, bro. I
is
just
too
don't think that he's
talented,
any.
stating that the globalization of the game, the increased talent pool, and the new second apron have made teams impatient and left a lot of NBA caliber players out of a job. And although I understand the sentiment, and the NBA is certainly the most talented it's ever been, I don't think the NBA
Wait,
is
the NBA needs an expansion. Because it's become too talented. The globalization of basketball has increased the talent pool 2x to 3x, but there's still only 450 roster spots available, and the new second apron and luxury tax penalties have made teams impatient and extremely risk averse. Can't read reacts, bro. Averse. So if you aren't the perfect role player, you won't survive in the NBA. Young players don't even get a chance to develop anymore.
too talented. The reason why we're now seeing so many talented, capable players miss out on roster spots is because not only has the floor for NBA talent increased drastically over the last decade, but because teams have also gotten drastically smarter over the last decade. Talent alone, for the most part, is no longer enough to keep a spot in the league. Organizations are now prioritizing things like fit and a player's role and how they can contribute and blend into a system over sheer talent and skill set.
Yeah.
How talented you are, unless you're a superstar. If you aren't a good fit, you won't have a place in the league. This has led to a lot of ultra-talented players completely sitting out of lineups or getting relegated to the G League or overseas, and fans asking, how is that guy not in the league? And the answer usually isn't that they weren't good enough, it's that they weren't a good fit. The inverse of this is also true. Players of lesser talent can end up getting roster spots these days because they may have a specific skill set that fits what a team needs, and
like shooters and what else? Shooters and some other like shooters, good defense, all that, like good foot, like not good footwork, but like, you know what I mean, you gotta have good footwork regardless. But like, I kind of get what he's saying, but some dudes in the G League, I be looking, how is he not in the league? How is he not in the league?
willing to play into that role.
That
There used to be a time where you could say with confidence that the most talented basketball players in the world were all in the NBA. In fact, before the boom of foreign talent in an expansion league, you could argue that there was a time where the NBA had more roster spots than there were NBA caliber players. But this is no longer the case. Today, there are more players with NBA talent than there are NBA jobs, and more NBA level players not in the NBA than ever before. And while the talent pool continues to grow seemingly exponentially, the number of roster spots
there's
has
mad talented players out there, bro.
Today
They're just not in the NBA.
So talented. DeAndre Ayton, Russell Westbrook, Ben Simmons, and on the upper end, Jordan Poole, D'Angelo Russell, Zach LaVine.
Wait, what?
That team, Ayton, Russell Westbrook stayed the same. But you can still find examples today of players who are so talented. DeAndre Ayton, Russell Westbrook, Ben Simmons, and on
Ben Simmons is not talented, bro. What?
on the upper end, Jordan Poole, D'Angelo Russell, Zach LaVine.
Okay, D-Lo, JP for sure. Zach,
teams are more than happy to pay up and have them on their roster,
for
regardless
sure.
of if their play style or skill set is conducive to the system. And this approach just isn't good enough to win games in today's NBA. And I think as teams continue to get smarter, we'll see less of this and see even more talent leak out of the NBA. Recently on his podcast, Jaylen Brown had a great take on this.
There's so many talented players that are not in the NBA. NBA, I don't think, is the best talent in the world currently right now. They're taking like the utility guy draft approach, where they just drafting guys that they know are not going to be stars, but will be great role players to develop. So the actually most talented players, it's a lot of talented guys that's not in the NBA right now.
I agree with that.
The game has changed. I think in the 90s and the 2000s, the best players within the league.
Yeah.
Nowadays, in the 2020s, that is not the case.
Talent
Nah,
will
he's
always
right.
be the great
I ain't gonna lie,
factor in the
Jalen
NBA.
Brown
He
low-key.
decides
Why Jalen Brown low-key smart outside, but not really like. All right, whatever.
who
But
gets a
like,
chance and who
still, bro.
doesn't. But fit and cohesion are more important now than ever before. So I don't think the NBA is too talented. Teams have just shifted their priorities, and talent
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
not
I
good
agree.
enough to make it in the league. But I can appreciate this take, and let me know what you think. Share your hot takes in the comments below. And as always, the hotter, the better.
Facts. The hotter, the better. Hey, man. Hey, a hot take for y'all, man. Stephen Curry, #2 all time. Take that as you want. Hot take. Anyways, though, man, I'm gonna keep it a buck, cause I don't give a fuck. Nah. I'm gonna keep it a buck, cause I don't give a fuck. These hot takes suck, bro.